there, welcome back to the channel. So, yesterday was a big success in that I got the rhythm tracks down, and I'm just really happy with the guitar tone. All this extra work with this guitar, all the extra work with the Carl Martin, deciding which amp I was going to use, whether it be the Fender Deluxe, the Blackface, or the Marshall. And the only reason that I kind of always end up with the Marshall over the Blackface for this band is that, you know, it's a kind of a heavy rock band, especially live. You know, I do some kind of lighter touches when I'm recording and, you know, my listening habits, but when I get on stage, I'm usually like all the way up and everything's super loud, and drummers are always, you know, big drummer, loud drummers. I just like more, you know, it's more gain. Not more gain in the amp tone, but more gain in like a big live show with lots of energy and lots of volume. So I kind of always end up with this because it gives me a little bit more, you know, mid-range spectrum. So the tone of it is amazing. I'm really happy. I think I found some synergy with these fat heads going directly into the preamps on the Zoom. I don't know why, but that worked really well. And this 8 inches thing, what I decided from doing this is that the guitar tone sounded like here what it sounds like in the room. So a lot of times I'm trying to adjust tone in the room knowing that it's going to sound different when I hear it played back, so I'm kind of already compensating for it, trying to make it sound different from the way it sounds in the room, knowing that when it goes to digital or to tape, it's going to sound slightly different for whatever reason. Now, the more I do this, the better I'm getting at mic placement, and mic placement is really where it's at, along with crafting your tone with the instrument and with the amplifier. But I feel like I'm getting better results from the mic placement, and I'm getting better results out of the Zoom pre's. I've got the gain on both of them at about 1 o'clock, and on this one a little bit more, because this is a Alnico driver, which is a slightly softer presentation than the ceramic driver, which barks a little more, puts out a little more output, like a little more pressure. So this one I have to turn up a little bit to match that level. And if it doesn't match levels exactly, it gives a nice kind of, sounds like two people playing, or sounds like, you know, different sounds mixed in instead of just one sound. On the Zoom, I'm recording without effects, and I usually do that on guitars. On bass, obviously, I'm going to go directly in, so I'm going to find an effect. But with guitars and with drums, except for the snare drum mic. On the snare drum mic, I put compression on it, which is typically in the dual mic setting, and it's number 26. It's called Big Shape. And it's just a heavy-duty compressor, not a heavy-duty, but it's more compression than I use on anything else, has a limiter, and it just kind of squashes that snare drum down a little bit, and it also kind of helps tame the highs on the hats. So I use that, but everywhere else I'm going effect-free as far as what's available here. So on the guitars, no effects, on the drums, no effects, except for the snare. And then on my vocal, obviously, I do effects, only in that I'll pick one of the mic pre's that has a good compressor setting. Sometimes Big Shape, sometimes it's 1, 2, or 3, I think, those first 0, 1, and 2, something like that. I'll use those. And we'll get into that on vocal day. But here I just record dry, you know, with nothing on it, because you can always add later. My main goal is to get a really good tone that's, you know, directly from the amp, the guitar, not trying to dress it up with anything and fix it. Let's get it right here, let's get it right here, let's get it right here, and then it'll be right here, you know? That to me is a more conservative, like pragmatic path towards getting better at doing this, as opposed to trying to just get something down and then fix it later, like we'll fix it in post type of mentality. Okay, so yesterday I did the same thing. I'm doing the same thing today that I did yesterday, and a couple times I've recorded little lead bits and little single note bits. I don't really call them solos because I don't feel like I play proper solos. I'm getting more into playing guitar, more into learning different idioms like jazz, blues. I want to learn how to play, even though it's kind of a predictable thing and every single person on YouTube plays blues. I do think those types of idioms are interesting because they give you a language that you can then use in your own music. Doesn't mean you have to play authentic blues like Stevie Ray Vaughan or Albert King or something like that. There's lots of people doing that. What you can do instead is you learn that and then you incorporate it into your work, just little bits and pieces of it, and that's kind of what I've done with this solo. It's kind of inspired by all the blues stuff I've been watching on YouTube, and the bending and the pull-offs, and using a lot of open notes and playing up here in this this E minor box, you know. So, pentatonic box. Alright, so I'm going to do that, and I'm using 2 microphones so that I get the same juice that I got from the 2 rhythm tracks. And in the past, I have sometimes just recorded with 1 mic on the riff solo bit, but I've got plenty of room for tracks, so I'm going to shoot the works and do the same thing with this little riff bit that I do with the you know, the main rhythm track. So I've got it pretty well worked out. What happened yesterday is I was ready to track it. I've been playing this little thing a lot, you know, just using it to set the guitar up. And when I got in here, I realized I had mistimed it. The little breakdown was shorter than I had envisioned, so I had a longer bit than would fit in that space in the song, so I had to chop it down a little bit. But I think I came up with something a little more interesting, because when it was longer, it was getting a little repetitive, like kind of playing the same thing twice, whereas this time I cut that off, you know, like midway, because and I kind of condensed the whole thing, so the best bits are all slammed in there faster than sort of being spread out over a couple more measures. So I'm going to break now and come back and see if I can get a take, and I'll shoot it, and it might be a couple takes, but luckily it's short, so I can rewind it a couple times and it would be only the same length. Hopefully we might not make it too long, so who's going to want to sit there and watch that. But it shouldn't be much longer than what I did yesterday if you could sit through that and watch me do a take. I don't know why I like capturing that. It's just fun to look back at it later and see my development. And I did hear a couple of glitches in that rhythm take, but I tell you, I'm moving more and more to just leaving small mistakes in, especially if I don't notice them and they're not bugging me. If they're bugging me, obviously I'm going to fix them, and if it's really egregious, I'm going to fix it. But I'm starting to get to just little glitches, little moments where the guitar may go a little off because you grab the chord too hard or something, and it waves for a little millisecond. I'm going to start leaving that kind of stuff in more and more, because I'm recording this stuff by myself. This is like my by myself recording project. So there's kind of a sameness that creeps in anyway, from the same person doing everything, and the same instruments and the same, you know, just same hands, same mind. So I want to leave little mistakes in so that it sounds more natural. Maybe it sounds like different people playing instead of sounding like me. I don't know if it sounds like me playing it or if it sounds like a band. I don't know. I think it sounds like a band. I don't think people ever hear it and go, that's one guy. Unless they know, and then they'll be like, wow, sounds like it. Anyway, so I'm going to break now, do the little bit, fingers crossed. And I did a better version of that little chuck thing at the end that I was doing yesterday. It goes like, be good to plug in first. So the little chuck bit at the end, where I'm chuck, 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 I did a better version of that, and it's something like this. I think that just added a little something to it. So anyway, what I'm going to do is break here, come back, practice this a few times, and I'll just see if I can slam a take for the camera. Okay, here we go. I've practiced it a bunch of times. It is kind of unfamiliar to me because, like I said yesterday, I had to chop the solo down overnight, and I've been practicing it, so I don't know. I hope I do okay. I'm going to plug it in. There might be a couple takes on this one. I can always edit it down if it gets super boring, but you can watch me fail a bunch. I'll try not to get upset. All right, so what I usually do is I run the headphones through here so this cable doesn't get in my way. I'm going to put them on, making sure left-right orientation is correct, and then I put the strap over my shoulder. It seems to be the most free and clear way to keep everything comfortable while tracking. And then I just try to get situated. I'm going to use the vibrato a little bit, so I've got that in position. I'm going to be on the neck pickup. Everything's turned all the way up to 10, and going to try to pick sideways, get like a little scraping kind of nasty tone. Okay, so the break is 4 measures, and then and then it repeats itself. So on the second part, I'm going to play it. So I'm just kind of listening and waiting. So here we go. Here goes nothing, as they say. Out of standby, I've already tuned. We're playing with no effects. Preamps are at noon and 1 o'clock respectively. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to play that back and we'll just see what we have. It felt a little off, so I'll probably do it again. Okay, not a keeper, but I learned something. I want to turn up the guitars a little bit in the mix. That might give me a little more like sinking into the mix presence. Sometimes when you're tracking, it's hard to get sunk in because this has to be loud, and the headphones, I don't want to make them too loud. And I've got my earplugs in inside of here, you know, just for extra protection, or some protection, I should say. All right, so let's see here. I undid the track, so anytime I make a mistake, I'm undo. And I think we're okay with tuning. We're plugged in, cranked, down, go again. Hooray, success. I'm going to listen back and make sure, but I think we're good. Okay, now, next thing we're going to do is get it to bass. So next time. Okay, really quickly, I'm going to show you what I've got going on with the machine. We're going to get a bit of a close-up on what's going on in the zoom on these guitar tracks. Okay, I just did the new guitar tracks, the little solo bit, and that was here. I had it armed. As you can see, I have the high Z off because we're not plugging an instrument directly into here. We got a line signal. Okay, so I've got this a little past noon here, and this one at about 1 o'clock, mainly because this was an Alnico driver and this on this microphone, and this was a ceramic driver. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is a Alnico driver. This is the ceramic driver. This needed a little more gain to get the levels, you know, matched. Okay, effects on this recording. The effects are off. If you wanted to turn it on, you just scroll the wheel and they reveal themselves. No thanks on the guitar. I don't want extra distortion. I've worked so hard on my tone, I'm not going to put any garbage on it. Not that that would be garbage if that's what you're looking for when you're plugging directly in, but it would sound like garbage added to my tone. Okay, then this is the other two guitar tracks. And what I did is after I recorded, I just swapped this one here and this one there, and then armed these and turned these to play. Let me see if there's something else I can show you that might be noteworthy. I'm coming in here. This is one microphone. This is the other microphone. Phantom power is off because I'm using ribbon mics. Yeah, very straightforward because all I'm doing is no effect recording. The levels were all at 100. I hope. I'm looking at this master here. Let's go see what's going on there. It was set at 85. Great. I bet that happened when I moved it. That's what I'm going to hope, because I think that was set at 100 when I was playing it back. Whatever happened, the levels to tape were good, and that was a thumbs up take. Okay, so that's what was going on in the machine. I will now show you what I do when I record bass.